2014, the challenges are profound, but the accomplishments over the last 50 years are phenomenal. The transformation that has taken place, making it not only immoral but illegal to discriminate against an individual based on color or gender, sex, or sexual preference. That is a total transformation. However, we must be aware of all of the backlash, the hostility that we see every day against all of those advances and the breaking down of these barriers. If we could overcome slavery, if we could overcome post-Reconstruction and 100 years of lynching and Jim Crow, we can overcome these formidable challenges that we face now. The most impactful memory was the moment on the board of directors when we were deciding about moving forward with $350 million expansion, renovation, renewal. The articulation of that vision is eloquent, and the faith is deep, and the message is clear. We can accomplish this. And then to see the finished product as a jewel not only in Cleveland but to the nation and to the art community everywhere was certainly a memorable and a profound moment. One in my tenure as a member of the Board of Trustees and as a citizen of Cleveland.
I've seen a remarkable change in America. I had to sit on the back of a bus in Memphis, Tennessee, and it wasn't until I came north that I rode on the front of a bus. We have, through the civil rights movement, we have made these changes throughout the country. And if you're a black kid, you're educated, you want to go to school, you have a shot at doing anything you want to do. I'm not a native Clevelander. My home is from Memphis, Tennessee. And as a kid from the South, I can remember being taught the arts and music and Beethoven and Bach and Mendelssohn. And at that time I was exposed to, believe it or not, I was exposed to this culture. And art museums and symphonies and those kind of things were off limit for black people in Memphis, Tennessee. So when I came to Cleveland, I became aware of the museums. I became of the whole cultural community off of Euclid Avenue.
He was born in Youngstown, Ohio, the youngest of 5 children. It was just after the Depression, and life wasn't easy. Arnold Pinckney's dad worked in a steel mill, and his mother a domestic worker. Together, they instilled in their son the value, will, and discipline to achieve and succeed. And succeed, Arnold did. He became the first black insurance agent with Prudential Insurance Company and a $1 million producer 5 times. He founded and operated Pinckney Perry Insurance Agency for 45 years, owned a Wendy's franchise with 5 restaurants, and negotiated contracts for professional athletes. Arnold was the successful campaign manager for Carl Stokes, Lou Stokes, Dick Celeste, Mayors Michael White, Frank Jackson, and he was the national campaign manager for Jesse Jackson, candidate for President of the United States. Arnold served on the Cleveland Board of Education for 11 years, 8 years as board president, member of the Central State University Board for 7 years, 3 years as president. Member of Albion College, Albion, Michigan, Board of Trustees, 4 years. Arnold has been a member of the NAACP, Greater Cleveland Growth Association, Greater Cleveland Roundtable, the Urban League. His wife, Betty, former vice chair of University Hospital's Board of Trustees, the first African American and woman to hold that position. Daughter Tracy is board chair of Mount Pleasant Now Community Development Corporation. But in serving on the Cleveland Board of Education, Arnold found his lasting satisfaction, improving the lives of young people. His is a true American story, a story that needs to be told over and over again. In this visual era we live in, we hope to do that by putting together a video documentary of his life. This is a story that people need to see, to hear, and to feel. For Arnold's story is a dramatic example of how a life should be lived. A life of hopes and dreams, a life of struggle and success, a life of humility and honor, a life whose greatest achievement is in service to others. This is the story of Arnold Pinckney. We hope you will help us tell it through the voices of those who lived in this era and preserve it for future generations.
I was involved as a young lawyer with the NAACP. I was appointed as the chairman of the Legal Redress Committee. Every day we're in court representing protesters who were marching and who had been arrested here in Cleveland. We represented persons who were activists in the movement, who were arrested and taken to jail and then subjected to trial. We filed the first desegregation lawsuit against the state of Ohio and the Cleveland public school system to try and desegregate Cleveland schools. We really stirred up things and tried to assist and utilize our legal abilities in order to do that part or make our contribution to the civil rights movement. I remember as a grade school student at Giddings Elementary School, having been taken to the Cleveland Museum of Art, I think on several occasions. And also I think when I was in junior high school at the old Central High School. The little group of us, all little kids standing in line and being told by the teacher, don't do this, don't do that, and stopping at the traffic light and that type of thing. Saturdays, I think, on the weekend, it was on the weekends, my mother taking Carl and I to the art museum. People take pride in the fact this is a part of the culture of a city.
I'm a black man, been one all my life. I was a black man in Italy. I was a black man in Dakar, Senegal. Dakar, Senegal was where I was selected by the United States Embassy to design the American Embassy office building in Dakar. And funny thing, this was the first time ever in my life I had been a part of the majority. Everybody looked like me. I walked down the street and nobody looked at me the second time. I was in Norway once and everybody stopped. But in Dakar, Senegal, nobody looked at me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was doing business with the contractors, with the architects, with the government, and everybody looked dressed just like me, and it was a wonderful time. But then on Friday, I happened to get up early and looked out my balcony of my hotel room, and it was all different. So what is different here? And what is different here is that these people are Muslim. And I saw these handsome men who were no longer wearing new neckties and suits. They were wearing boo-boos. I said, you know, I'm black man one minute, like everybody else, and the next minute I'm left out. In America, there is a struggle, not so much by being black, as I talked about the car, but the difference in the majority culture. My first encounters with the Cleveland Museum of Art was when I was a student at Western Missouri University studying architecture, and the history of architecture professor used the Cleveland Museum of Art as a part of the background. So I remember going to that Museum of Art early on, and I think that the whole experience of the museum was really meaningful.